Hey guys, welcome again. This is my second stream, and I'm very excited to start this one. What I'm doing is thematically, I'm kind of dividing both days. So the first day is about finishing an image or advancing an image. So it's more focused on illustration and hopefully talking about like random stuff. And the other day, the second day in the week, is going to be about studying and how I study personally. And I hope that inspires you to study in your own way and find your own, yeah, your own paths. So I know that I've said that my streams were going to be on Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm going to have to change it. So from next week on, and I already scheduled it that way on Twitch, it's going to be on Monday and Wednesday. Okay? That's because I got some Japanese classes I'm really excited to get back on, and the only schedules they had kind of interfered with my streams. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to switch them up. Um, in other news, I've gotten a lot of supporters on Patreon, so thank you so much for your support. And I've also gotten some subscribers on Twitch. So that's pretty neat. I'm really happy that this is working and it's kind of steadily growing. It's a great boost, and yeah, I hope I can keep on doing these videos. So thank you for joining me, and let's get started. So today's image is one that I've been working for a long time, and I say a long time because I've worked on different parts and different stages. So at first I started modeling like the skull of this creature. I think that's how the idea started. Like I modeled this skull of a creature that was kind of a human skull, but also had a really long beak. And from that, it kind of mutated into this really big image that I'm working on right now. So I've worked on it on and off, and I've also learned a lot because that was my first sculpt on Blender, and also the rocks behind. I don't know, all of this. You can see like right on the back. Hang on, is this actually working? I should have tested this. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna have to do some reset of my tablet. It sometimes happens. It's no biggie. Hang on. Just have to disconnect and reconnect it, and let's see if it works. Okay, let's see where Photoshop ended. Here we go. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see if it works now. Yeah, okay. So these rocks in the back, I also learned how to do them in Blender, and it's helped me a lot actually to kind of mix techniques, especially trying to be a bit more efficient and also realistic in some ways. It's helped a lot. So right now the idea is to finish this image because it's gone way too long. So I'm going to show you kind of the process that I've followed on this file because it's not the original file. I usually save like different stages so the file doesn't get ridiculously heavy. So I have this right now. So this is how it started, and I'm not mad about that. I kind of like it, but the image was getting a bit too dark and a bit too flat. So I asked for help, and Felix, she's like one of my Patreons, actually the Patreon, the Patreon that actually stuck through the whole quiet phase. So I've started making it brighter and brighter and brighter, and I like where it's going, but there's still some things that I'm not 100% convinced about. So yeah, so let's get to it. Let's see. So one of the things I'm not convinced about is the profile on the beak, because it's like it's almost like this shape, and I want it to be like a bit sharper. So I don't know if something like this is gonna work. I don't think so, but I'm gonna try to make it something like this. So kind of an S curve downward. So I'm not gonna repaint it. I'm just gonna cheat as we usually do in concept art. So I'm gonna duplicate this and just that selection. And I'm going to deform it. So let's see if this helps a bit. And I'm looking at it with a navigator that I have on my other screen. And that way I get like a general notion of the image. Okay, yeah, I like that a lot more. So, and by the way, this is just about finishing this image. So it's not going to be a lot of like new content or like sketching or anything like that. It's mostly going to be about finishing the image today. So if you have questions or you just want to chill, that's perfectly fine. I also don't like this and this. I think I'm going to modify those, but I really like the beak. So right now is what it used to be. I really like it a lot more right now. I'm going to start modifying this shape because I'm not crazy about this like really big nostril here. Yeah, let's just fill it in a little bit more, make it a bit more organic. Okay. Yeah, I like that more. And I'm gonna limit this a bit more because it's a bit too big. This pómulo, I don't know how to call it. Cheekbone, that's kind of the word. So it's all about sculpting little details here and there. So yeah, I hope this is interesting to someone. And it really helps me. So this is my second image this year. The first one is part of a book that I can't show right now because I kind of promised that I wouldn't until the book was published. So I'll show it later. But my plan was to do an image every month, and I've managed to do that so far. We're only two for two, but that's really good. I mean, that's only if I manage to finish this image today. Or at least in these following weeks. Okie doke. Yeah, I like that face a lot better. So here's the switch from this to this. And you see that it was also like not symmetrical, and I really want that symmetry for like to break the image like vertically and horizontally. I really wanted that. Also, this skull is pretty cool, but I'm gonna try something. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm gonna try to make like little feathers popping up from here, so it kind of looks a bit more integrated and not like floating, because it seems like it's floating, but I don't really want that to be the effect. So these are very cheap feathers, but I hope they work. Do I like that? Yeah, I like that. Okay. So I'm just going to add a bit of shadow here so it looks a bit more integrated. And this is going to be tough because this is already way too dark, but still, we can do it. And let's add a bit more shape to them. Okay. And I'm going to add a little bit more of these like residual little feathers that sometimes birds have. They're pretty creepy sometimes, but yeah. Okay. I have to be very careful because I already kind of color coded all of this. So if I go a bit too bright in some areas, it's going to look off. Like for example here, I think I went a bit too dark, so yeah, I like that a lot more. Okay. So the other thing that I'm not crazy about is this whole stick kind of thing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate all of this area and I'm gonna work on it like separately. Nope. There we go. Okay. So what I don't like is like these kind of artifacts that have started showing because of the overexposure of many layers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to Finger him out. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Okay, that's good. So yeah. Yeah, it's much better, but I think I want to make it a bit darker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over it. With this one, so it's kind of the shadowy one. Okay, good. What I'm going to do now is with the layers, I can select like which levels of colors are visible through the layer or not. So that way I kind of integrate that shadow a bit better. And I don't want it as dark as the other part, but just a bit tad darker. So that's the difference from that to that. And I'm much happier with that. Okay, another problem area is like this area right here. I like it, but I don't like it that much. So these are things that I've been like chewing on for a long time. So that's why I can kind of go right to the issues. But for that, it's good to let your images kind of rest for a while, because if you don't, then you're just not going to see any of the issues, and they're just going to come back and bite you afterwards. Okay, so there we go. That's kind of it. And I'm also going to darken it a little bit, because I don't like the fact that it's lighter than the one behind it. Like atmospherically, it just doesn't make sense to me. So for you guys who are just popping in, what I'm doing today, as opposed to the second day in the week, what I'm doing is I'm kind of finishing images. So my objective this year is to finish one image per month, one personal image per month. And so far I've managed to do it. My first image is not available to the public yet, but it will be soon enough. It's part of a book, so I can't show it to you guys yet, but I will. And this is the second one. This is the February one, although I've been doing this image like for years now. Okay, good. Yeah, I really, really like that a lot. Okay. The other part that I think is way too bright is this feathery part of the wing that's coming towards us, especially because it's almost as close as this area down here, like as this plane. So I'm gonna try to darken it a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna very loosely select it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna level it out. So yeah, that's good. Okay. So now I'm just gonna finger the limits. Like, I know it's called smudge in English, but I just I find it funny that in Spanish it's called like a finger instead of just smudge. It's a bit weird, but I like it. I like weird. So yeah. If you guys have any questions or any subject you want to talk about, let me know. Okay, so that's the wing. It's a bit too dark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the bottom a bit brighter with these layers. Yeah, and I'm also going to do the same trick I did before. So yeah, about there, and we're just going to soften that out. Okay, good. And a bit less opacity. Just a tad darker, just to get that atmospheric difference from the wing behind it. Okay. So now, I think that's it. I'm done. Thank you for coming. No, there are still some things that I need changed. One of those is this area right here. I think this feather doesn't bear being this long, so I'm just going to move it inward, kind of erase it, and paint the difference. So this is mostly just noise in order to like simulate the background and get a more unified image. Okay. Going to break this up a little bit because it's kind of too flat for my taste. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like that a lot more. So here there's some, oh no, I didn't get those, did I? Yep, okay, so that was the last. Actually had worked a bit on all of these areas. So what I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna do this and check if it all still works. It should. Yeah, it does. Okay, good. Okay, so one thing I don't really like, I remember when I started this image, I really wanted to work with bright reds, and I think that has gotten a bit lost. So again, I'm gonna cheat. So I'm gonna go to layers, new adjustment layers, and I think this is called a gradient map in English. So what I'm gonna do is create a new gradient. So the brightest bright, that one's fine. This one's also fine. Let's just grab a red. And for the darker tones, let's go with a blue, a really dark blue. Okay, but on the mid-tone, let's grab kind of a purple, so it's kind of forced into that. And the bright ones, I'm not crazy about them, so. Okay, that's better. So yeah, this is kind of the overlay that I'm making, the gradient map, in order to apply a bit of color. So let's just lower the opacity a little bit. I'm not sure if I go with color, maybe it's better. Yeah, that works. And it kind of subdues the greens a little bit, which I think makes it a bit more of a cohesive image. Let's just do 20, because 21, I don't like that number. Okay. And it does make a difference, so. Yeah, that works. Okay. So duplicating it, and this is just like my standard treatment to some images that are really close to the viewer. So here we have some first, I don't know how to call that, like primer planos. So what I'm going to do is add some lens correction. So it's a fake lens correction, but I'll show you what I mean by that. So here's the lens correction thingy. So here's kind of the distortion that lens makes it. I usually don't go above that. And I add a little bit of chromatic aberration, but not too much. We don't want to overdo this. And it's easy to overdo this kind of effect. Let's add a bit of... No. Just a little bit. Okay. So that's a difference from this to this. And it's not a lot, like it's not crazy. That's not a crazy difference, but it's enough to get your eye kind of thinking that you're in this scene, in this area, and that's kind of what I want. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate that, and I'm gonna focus it right now. So it's sharpening. So sharpening 151.8, that's perfectly fine. Let's duplicate that, and I'm gonna saturate it just to see how it bears the colors. I like that wacky saturation. It's a lot, but I kind of like it. Okay, let's see if we modify this a little bit. Let's see how it takes it. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, so I just edited the colors a bunch. See how it goes. So one good thing about editing colors and saturating them as a layer is that you can focus your image precisely where you want your viewers to look at. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So if I do this, like the viewer is probably going to go into this area because it's more saturated, it's higher contrast. And yeah, so the eye tends to think that it's a bit like interesting enough for your attention. So I'm just editing the mask so it's not as sharp as a selection. So it's grayer, you can see. There we go. I like this level of saturation right now. There's something I'm not like crazy into, and it's probably the fact that I'm already going darker again. Yeah, let's just copy everything and paste it and see how we're doing with levels. Okay, so I'm just gonna give the brights a little bit more. Too much. There we go. Okay. Not much of a difference, but still a difference. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's add some effects, see how that goes. Okay. So some lighting effects. This image is originally called Mountain Gravedigger. So I was it's a pretty dark subject, I know, but I was really interested in the fact that there are kind of mummies in really dry places and dry mountains. So it's probably going to be really dusty here and there, and I would like that to be the case here as well. So I'm adding dust. Oh, I'm doing that in the wrong layer. So let's start all over again. Okay, there we go. That's the layer I want to edit. So I'm adding dust. This is not, I'm not just gonna leave that amount of dust. I'm gonna reduce it in a bit. Okay. but that's just the general pass. Okay. Let's see how that fares. I'm leaving certain areas without dust, so it's kind of, so it works as rays, so we can like direct the gaze back into our main character. And I'm gonna add some of that into this area. Okay, so now it looks dusty as hell. Let's reduce the opacity. Okay, that works. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna add some noise to it, see if that works. Let's do a bit less noise. That's it. And let's try to invert it, see how that goes. So right now I'm editing the levels on the mask, not directly on the... Hey! Yay! Thank you for the raid. That was amazing. Okay, so right now I'm editing the mask directly. So I'm editing the noise, not necessarily the bass dust that's going about. It's just the noise. Okay, so that's it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sprinkling with the same brush that I had, some darks. So I'm going to darken the areas that I don't want as much dust. And I'm going to go with the whites and kind of recover some of those dusty particles. So let's do that. I like the particles here. I like the particles here. I like the particles here. Let's draw a line. Let's draw a line here. These are pretty cool. Yay! Thank you. Thank you for following. Okay, so this is how far we've gone with the image. I like the fact that it's visible everywhere, but that's not necessarily how I feel. Oh, that dust works. So almost dropped my pen. So what I'm going to do is, again, with the same little trick that I've been doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it less visible in really bright surfaces and more visible in really dark ones. So just like that. They get kind of accentuated where they need to be. But I think I dropped it a bit too much. Okay, let's just recover those a little bit. Yeah, okay. I think there are too many, so I'm gonna go back with my brush, make it larger, and with black I'm already gonna edit the mask directly. So there we go. We're removing some of these dust particles. Okay. Yeah, I like how that looks. Okay, let's keep going. I'm sorry if this image is a bit too dark for some of you out there, but I got really inspired. Last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago already? Jesus. Yeah, 2 years ago. 2019. We went to Mexico with my wife and a friend of hers, and we had a ton of fun. And one of the places we visited is, yay! Thank you, Oz. Welcome. Please stay as long as you want. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. So we went to Mexico, and there was this place. I don't remember its name. I should, but it was this place that had like mummies that were created naturally, like the nutrients in the soil were enough for people that got buried just to be very well preserved, and they just became mummies after years and years. So it was pretty intense looking, and I really liked that. So that's exactly what I'm kind of trying to mimic here. Let's see if I can do this. Yeah, okay. So there we go. It's something that most people won't even notice. I don't know if you're noticing, but this is kind of the dust particles that that I'm adding everywhere. And I just noticed something here. This area doesn't look good, so I'm gonna fix that. So even though I'm kind of working on a more detailed manner than I usually would, I'm not overdoing it, I hope. So as you may notice that these feathers are not perfectly shaped or whatever, and that's not a bad thing. I'm kind of deciding not to let that bug me as much as it should, although here I am almost fixing the shape of some of them. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep the focus on where it needs to be, and right now this is not an area of interest, so I'm just letting it go that way. Okay, I really like these, how these turned out, like the mountains behind them. I like how bright they look right now. I really want that. So, yay, another follower. Thank you. Sophia Poveda, welcome. And please stay as long as you want. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. Good. So, right now I'm thinking that maybe the saturation was a bit too much. So I think it's these 2 layers of saturation. Yeah, so maybe I may be destroying my image right now, but that's just how it goes. So let's do it. I'm gonna make this way less saturated, like almost grays. And I'm gonna recover some of those shines. See how it goes. Okay, so that looks cool. I like that. But I don't like the fact that we're losing so much information. So let's just change this to this and do all of this again. Okay, so right there what I did was basically make these areas, like these areas, make them less saturated. That's basically all I did. So right now I'm gonna go into this layer and set it to saturation. So it directly does that to the layers like under it, and it doesn't affect the fact that I already changed some of this. And I'm gonna reduce the opacity just to recover some of that so it's not as visible. So it's just little details, but I don't know if you can see this, but right here it's like less saturated, and as it's going in this direction it's starting to get saturated, and that kind of draws my gaze into my character, which is what I want. And that's also happening here, and that's also happening here. So that's pretty cool. I don't want this, actually. I don't want this area to get lost, because I really like the colors in these feathers, and I like them matching these. So I'm just gonna recover some of those. So I'm doing this all by masking, essentially. Okay. There we go. And I don't like this color right here, so I'm just gonna desaturate his skull a little bit. Or its skull, I should say. I don't know if it's a he or a she or a they or whatever. Huh. Okay, maybe I did that too much. The good thing is I'm working on a mask, so I can just undo it and keep on working. And that's the cool part about masks, baby. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Here we go, my little ugly little friend. Okie doke. Good. So, if you want to set a subject, if you want to ask some questions while I take like this mini break and let the image breathe, just let me know. Ah, water is the best. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna try something that's really cheesy, but I'm just gonna try it, see if it works. Okay, so let's try some move. Whoa, no. Filter, blur, radial blur. And I'm gonna do that on the third. I'm gonna make it sketch just for now and make it really exaggerated just to see if I'm hitting the mark. Yeah, that's exactly the place I want that to be. So now I'm gonna do that. How long did it take to reach this point of detail? Oh, Jesus, that's what I was saying at the beginning of this whole image. I've been working on this image for years, but one of my objectives this year is kind of to close really old projects, and that's why I've wasted years on this image. Because I used this image to learn a lot, so I used it to learn how to sculpt in Blender, and also how to apply materials in Blender. So let's do something. I'll finish this right now, well, like in a bit, and I'll show you the Photoshop file that comes before this Photoshop file. Okay, so you can see the whole progress. But it's been a long time. I don't think the image has gotten that much time in it, but it's been like in this stage for a while. Hey, Yoneho, what's up? Welcome in. Okay, so let's do this again. Blur, radial blur, and let's do that optimal and not as exaggerated. So this is gonna take a while because I'm streaming at the same time, so my processor is probably going nuts right now. Let's hope it doesn't burn my whole computer. Okay, so it didn't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the darks really dark and make the brights a bit brighter and give them a bit of superpower. There we go. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this to screen. Cheesy as hell. I love it. Okay, hang on. Let's desaturate it a bit so we don't get that. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the power and kind of make it a bit higher contrast rays. Okay. So right now this is, whoa, I kind of killed them all, didn't I? Okay, so let's do that again. So this is the stage we want. Okay. Actually, let's do that again. So we're going to reapply the same blur, like radial blur, and see if that actually mixes the lines a bit better, so we get a better effect, like higher contrast in the lines. Apparently it did. Yeah, okay, good. So we're all learning here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is darken these, not as much, about there. Okay. And I'm gonna make them screen. Yeah, I like that, but it's a bit too harsh. So let's reduce it, and that's kind of the difference. I actually like that. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, I think we can call this image done, boys and girls. This is pretty an exciting moment. So right now I'm just gonna sign it and call it a day. And I'll be posting this image on ArtStation because that's kind of my main platform. And what I'm gonna do is I'll also post all of the products that I'm making here on video are going to be available, like with the PSDs and everything. You can download them and like check them out if you want. I'm uploading them all on an ArtStation as a product, so you can have them. They're completely free for my patrons. So if you wanna join me on Patreon, that would be awesome because you get all of these files for free. But if you don't want Patreon or you don't need Patreon, which is perfectly fine, and you just want like one specific file, you can also get them. And that's kind of what I wanted to achieve. Okay, so let's just make the signature teeny weeny. And let's make, whoa, a bit too much. Not that teeny weeny. There we go, because if it doesn't, then it gets pixelated. And let's reduce the opacity until it's barely visible. There we go. Okay, guys, so I think we're done with this image. Hang on, there's still one thing. I just can't bear with this. So just bear with me for a second. It's the fact that this is kind of a margin. I don't know if you can see this, but this is a margin like going around his knee, and I don't like that margin. I just want to make it a bit more of an organic kind of shape. And I'm just dodging it, like, yeah. Oh, okay, I'm much happier with that now. Okay. Good, so I'm saving this. Now, let me look for the other file, and I'll be back in just a second, okay? Just give me a second. Let's see if... Okay, guys, I found a lot of the files that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so the no, Mountain Gravedigger 01. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So right now, I want to show you the process of this image. So everything that went before it. And I photo bashed a ton of things also for this image, as I usually do. And I also worked on my Blender skills, as I told you before. So yeah, this is the image as it was right before I had like some feedback. It was way darker, and I kind of liked that, but it was a bit too dark. So I'm just not gonna save this, and I'm gonna take all of these off and kind of show you. Okay, so here are my references. So these are mostly like crows and stuff, and sunsets and stuff. So you're gonna see my photo bash right now. So this is kind of the base. So I added this. This is actually my Blender product, which is cheap as hell. Like it looks terrible once you see it. but it worked. And I also did this one. I kind of mishmashed them a little bit. I used this as a base and this base. I don't remember any of these, but let's hope there's nothing too obnoxious here. So yeah, I did a ton of photo bashing here. I was also learning photo bashing for this one, so it's very old photo bash and very cheap. So yeah, these are mostly like the textures that I got, and most of them are pictures that I took on my travel to Mexico again. Except the ones with the wings and stuff. But there we go. So this is kind of the reference. And that's my folder called bash. So the next thing that came to it was a gradient map, and then I applied it, and I started sketching like the arms and stuff like that a bit clearer. So let's see how this goes. I don't remember any of this. This is pretty cool to watch. So I worked on the image, and it was really dark, wasn't it? Like it was really pitch dark. And that's kind of my tendency, I guess. So there was a lot of definition there from this step to this step. And from this step to this step with the arms. I didn't want to make the guy as buff as before. And I think, yeah, I kind of reduced that a little bit, lighten it, light in the foreground, make hands. Yeah, so this is basically the progress of this image. And it's not as long. I mean, it doesn't look as long, but it was. It was long as hell. Especially because I'll show you the sketch on Blender. So there we go. Yeah, I think that's mostly the result. There we... Oh, that was too much. Go. It was way too dark. Oh, and here's the original, like the sketch, the lighting sketch that I did really quick. So this was basically like after the bash, I just went in and said like, oh, this is kind of the way that I want to go. And it's changed a bit, but this was the sketch of the potions. And oh, this was the first sketch, like the very, very first one, before I even started with my photo bashing and whatnot. This was the first sketch I ever did. So it's really low res. It was like a really, really small thumbnail. But this is what I used off in order to start building up my photo bash. So it's not just grabbing stuff from internet that looks cool and like putting them in. I actually sketched this and thought about it a lot. And you can see here also, like with the 2 layers of composition, I've taken a lot of decisions based on that, like informed on that. And also, let me show you this. I don't know if you can see this. So this was the first sketch on Blender. Like this was me testing the how do you call that? The sculpting? Yeah, the sculpting tools on Blender, which is pretty much like ZBrush, but I don't have the money for ZBrush. So I went for Blender and I started learning this, and I also learned how to add some textures to it. So I downloaded a very, I think it was for free, texture of a kind of chicken meat and put it on. And it kind of looked cool. And this was the kind of a detail shot. At the beginning, I really wanted the eye to be kind of the center of it, but after a couple sketches, I started noticing that I really wanted like what the creature was doing to be the center, not the creature itself. So, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the process that I've been following. I hope it was interesting for you guys. And this is how the image is looking right now. I'm really happy about that. And I think we can, on the next session on Wednesday, I have to switch my sessions. I already said this, but for you guys who just got here, I had to switch some sessions. So I'm going to start doing them. Instead of doing them on Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to do them on Monday and Wednesday. Okay, so the first session is going to be, so the Monday session is going to be working things in order to finish them. But after that, like on the Wednesday one, I'm gonna be studying. So basically just doing maybe some of these repetitions or studying the basics again. Because it's always useful to go back to the basics and study a bit more. It's always good. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have any questions or want to know a bit more about this image. Just let me know, please. Mm. So I'm just gonna move the image a bit closer so you can actually see some of the details. Are you going to leave this streaming in the channel? I don't know how to do that, but what I'm doing is I'm uploading the videos. I'm uploading them to YouTube, and you can watch that, I mean, as many times as you want. And also, if you like the files that are gonna, the products in ArtStation and Gumroad, they're gonna include everything from the video to the PSD to JPEGs to sketches and stuff. What is going on about this story? Oh yeah, thank you, Phoenix. So, you missed everything. We already finished basically, but welcome. Right now, we're gonna. Well, Phoenix just asked about the story, and what I imagined was that I was telling you before that we went on this trip to Mexico with my wife, and it was a pretty cool trip. I really liked it. But we went to this place that had mummies that were occurring naturally. Um, so basically, what happened was that the characteristics of the soil in this place, it doesn't matter what you put in it, but it just wouldn't like degrade or rot. It would just stay very well conserved. I don't know how to say that, but yeah. So a lot of these people were put in there like 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 120 years ago, and they were kind of perfectly well kept. So what I imagined was that maybe it wasn't the doing of the just the soil, like it wasn't just a chemical explanation, but there was actually this creature that after someone had died, kind of removed the life out of them and made them be born again in a different place. But it was also like in the middle of the desert, so that's where the mountain gravedigger came to be, because it was a desert mountain. That's kind of what I wanted. And this also reminded me of Peru. There's a lot of mummies also that happen naturally because people were kept in the mountains and they were dry enough so they wouldn't rot. Um, so that's kind of the inspiration for this image. That's kind of the story. So it's this god, but also kind of fallen angel kind of figure that goes after some of the people that have died, and also like it takes their soul and brings them through their astral plane. So that's kind of what I was envisioning here. So it was this guy putting his hand into this liquid and pulling out the baby that just died. It's a bit dark, but I really loved it. And also, when we were in Mexico, we saw this woman who had died, and she was pregnant. So they actually had the mummified child in display, and it was so beautiful in a really dark way and really sad way. So that image just stuck with me, and I wanted to do something with that image, like imagining that maybe something came after, like it was that wasn't the end of them. Maybe there was something after, and I think that's kind of the story that I had in mind. So yeah, that's kind of it. Do you have any other questions, or would you like to know anything about this? We've got like 5 minutes left out of this stream, so fire away. What do you want to know? Even if it's personal things, you can ask whatever you want. I'm really thirsty, Jesus. Did I save? Let's save, just in case. Yeah, okay. Let's do some testing. So while you ask, I'm just gonna test some stuff, see if it works. I'm gonna try modifying the colors just to see what comes up. That looks nice. Damn it, I shouldn't have done this. That looks nice. Yeah, I just did. This... that looks like a red-blue like sorcery from Magic the Gathering. Damn it, that looks a lot better. Okay, so this is too much. Okay, that's a different direction, but I like it. Do you have sketches? How did you start? I already showed that. But you're gonna be able to watch all of the sketches that I just showed. You're gonna be able to watch them on YouTube because I'm uploading everything to YouTube. So I think on the Twitch links down below, there's one of them that's YouTube, and that's basically my repository for everything, of everything I do on Twitch. Okay. That looks nice as well. Okay, that's just like Halloweenish. I like it, but too Halloweenish. Guys, what do you think? Because I'm thinking that something of the sort like this actually doesn't look bad. I'm digging it a lot. So what do you guys think? Like, are these colors better than these ones? So let's just call these like red blue. Just an idea. You could design Twitch emotes or notifications for your channel on stream. That might be cool to see. I will look into that. I don't know how to do that, but I will. How do we do that? Yeah, I'll look into that. Sure. I really want to do that. I'd like to be a very localized experience and for the people who are here just to be here and enjoy and do whatever they want. So yeah, I'll look into that. Thank you, Phoenix. I just don't know how to do that, but I'll look into it. Do you guys feel like the blue actually helps it, or should we leave it with the greens? I think this one gives it kind of a more calm moment. Like it's warmer than this one. This one's a bit colder, so it's a bit more terrific, like scarier. But I like this one. Like I like how peaceful it feels in contrast with the subject. I think we're gonna leave it with this one. Maybe a midpoint? Why do I have to be so insecure about these things? No, let's commit. 100%. Yeah. Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna leave it like that. Yay! Okay, guys. So we can call this image done. And we have about a minute left. So thank you guys for being here. I've had a blast. Thank you for helping me finish this image. This is the second image of the year, and I'm really happy that I'm managing to finish one image a month. I'll keep on doing that on my streams. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, follow me. It really helps me. And if you want to follow me on YouTube, that also helps a lot. Okay? So, yeah. Oh, new follower. Yay. Thank you so much. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. So, thank you all. Thank you for being here, and thank you guys for watching the stream. This makes me really happy, and thank you for writing comments and asking me stuff. This really helps me, and it drives me to keep on going. I'm really happy with my Patreon as well. So I'm doing some. I'm helping people with projects with art. So I already have one Patreon, and he's here. Juan Mojica is here. And basically what I do is we meet and we help you achieve any of your projects. So kind of organize your mind and stuff like that. Or if you just organize and you just have like technical questions, I'm also there to help in that sense. Or yeah, whatever way I can help, I'll be there. So that's basically what I do on Patreon. So yeah, our time is up. It's 8. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. And I hope you had a nice time, and see you next time. Bye. See you on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday this week. Bye.